Hey guys, Bradley here. Welcome back to a new video. This one's gonna be way different from the last one, given that my last one was a time lapse of like an insane snowstorm or snowfall in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But I recently got the Mission 1 Pro to use as a dash cam, and it's a great camera. It's a phenomenal camera. But there's one big thing that's kind of an issue, kind of not an issue on this camera, and that is the internal preamp on this camera when you use wired lavalier mics. I don't think it matters if you use a USB-C mic or a 3.5mm aux mic. But anyways, the first few clips I used on this, all the audio sounded really bad. It was extremely blown out, and it wasn't even usable, honestly. But the audio you're hearing right now is with the internal preamp on its minimum gain, like its most minimum gain. So the camera I used before this camera was the Ace Pro, the first one. And that I had the USB-C to a 3.5mm adapter that Insta360 makes. It just clips onto the side of the camera and stuff. That worked really well. I used the same mic I use right now. It's the Rode Lav Go mic, the ones that don't come with the wireless receivers, and it's just a standalone lav mic. Anyways, when I use that lav mic with my Ace Pro 2, or Ace Pro, it doesn't really matter. They both use the same audio settings. Whenever I used it, the audio sounded cinema. It sounded amazing. It never blew out on me. It was very good. But when I used the GoPro, as I said, even on the same gain amount that I used on my Ace Pro, which was -12 in camera, it still blew out like insane. I even tested it. I moved it down from -12 to -18 decibels, and it was still blown out to an insane margin. But right now, the setting I have it on is -24, which is actually the minimum you can set it at. So, if this doesn't sound good, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. At the same time, I'm also experimenting with GoPro Log, because the one that GoPro gives you on their website, the LUT they give you on their website, only converts the log footage to Rec 709. But I'm thinking, because the camera can record in true high dynamic range now, I'm like, okay, well, log most likely can transfer to high dynamic range. So I'm like, okay, let me try and get a LUT that lets me transform log to high dynamic range. So I'm testing that out right now too. I'm pretty sure the audio is solid as it is, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we will see. But yeah, anyways, this is just, from here on out, this is just gonna be me testing the audio. You do have to train yourself to talk quieter than you do with different audio setups, because one, it's still easy to blow out the audio. If you think about it, in helmet audio, it's like an acoustic chamber of just a lot of sound, a lot of noise. Let's get on the road. I guess one thing I can talk about though on this ride, because there really isn't much to talk about. I mean, most of this ride is just testing the audio on the negative 24 decibels. But one thing I can talk about is the Mazda 3 sedan that I bought a week ago. Now, it was a pretty long process, and I would not ever want to go through the annoying process of buying it and waiting for it ever again. But I bought my 2026 literally brand new Mazda 3 Carbon Edition sedan from Volkswagen Mazda. I thought that light maybe would have turned yellow, but I guess not, man. Anyways, I bought that car from Volkswagen Mazda, and it's a dealer trade. It was a dealer trade. Anyways, so the car that I ended up buying is actually the third one that my dealership, that Volkswagen Mazda in Green Bay, tried bringing up here in Green Bay for me. So the whole thing, the whole process that I'm about to say took about a month and a half to 2 months, right? I'm just gonna tell you what I saw from what my salesman told me. So I went into the dealership originally to buy, or not to buy, but to order the car. So I put $500 down on my car because it's a dealer trade. That's what my dealership wants is $500. It's because they want you to like lock in the deal so they know you're not gonna pull out. I ended up calling him that Saturday, the week or two after I put the dealer trade payment down, and I asked for an update, like to see, I don't know, like when they could maybe expect delivery or when they could expect picking it up. And then he just, I forgot exactly what he told me. And then, long story short, we had a few calls back and forth, just talking about the car and the situation. And a few weeks after that, he called me saying that the first 2 cars, at that point they had then finally locked down 2 trade-ins that they got. He called me after that, after they arrived at the Volkswagen dealership, and he basically told me there was 2 on the truck, I guess. That's how I saw it, at least. He called me after they arrived, and yeah, he told me that the first one came off the truck with a damaged sensor, whatever that means. And the second one, I guess, I was wondering when she was gonna fucking go. Anyways, and the second one that they looked at, ended up having, getting damaged on the truck. He didn't specify what the damage was, but I would assume it's probably a paint chip from a rock flying up or something like that. Anyways, both of those deals fell through, and then I ended up having to wait another month or so to get the third and final one. the one that I have now. And that one, when I first looked at it, I didn't see any damage on the truck, on the vehicle whatsoever. The day we looked at it is the day it arrived at their dealership. And then they had to then wait for the accessories. Fast forward a few days, they got the accessories on and it was ready for me to sign and pick it up. Now, I got done signing, I got done doing everything, picking what license plate I want, if I want a custom license plate or not. And then me and my dad looked at the vehicle because, well, I could then start the pickup process. And then as soon as we walked up, I got in. I didn't really look at the outside because when we first looked at it, the outside was fine. But my dad was looking around it just to double check it for damages. Because, you know, the two previous cars they tried on ended up getting damaged. Oh, I didn't know they repaved this road with asphalt. Anyways, he told the salesman that there is actually there's a paint chip on the driver's side door, and I will post pictures like as I talk about them. But there was a paint chip on the driver's side door. And they took ownership of it right away. Now this lady is in the street being a dipshit, going oncoming lanes. Whenever my dad told them about it, my salesman took immediate ownership of it, and they said, first they looked at it to assess the damage. It's a pretty sizable chip, honestly. My salesman initially looked at it to assess the damage. She brought someone else over, probably the manager or the sales manager or service manager, I don't know, whoever. He brought whoever to also look at it, and then they told us that they would fill out this little sheet. I'll also take a picture of it. I'm gonna blow out my salesman's name because I honestly don't think any of this is his fault. I mean, first they were battling inventory issues and everything. I don't think any of this is his fault, other than that he could communicate it with me better earlier in the process. Anyways, fast forward to the next morning. I got in the vehicle, I was getting ready for work. I looked in the vehicle and I noticed that the weather sealing on the door, and I later verified it's actually on the door frame, not the door itself, was wavy. It looked like it wasn't seated properly, and it wasn't. That was the second thing I found. That was the issue with it. Now the third and hopefully final thing that I saw wrong with it. So I went up to my college on Thursday because I didn't have work Friday, and me and my dad, we were looking around, looking at it just because it looks nice and whatever, and we figured out that the ducktail spoiler or ducktail wing, whatever you want to call it, was also like misaligned. And that's also one thing that the dealership had incorrectly, because the dealership installed the wing. That was an aftermarket, not aftermarket, but that was an option that didn't come shipped on the vehicle. So the dealership definitely didn't align that properly, and that was their fault. And I will also send a picture of that. I'll put all the pictures overlaid on this video so you guys can see. But yeah, those are all the that's everything that I found that was damaged on my brand new vehicle that I took delivery of on not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before 4th of July weekend, basically. The Wednesday after 4th of July weekend, I dropped it off at the body shop to get, it worked on, to get the paint worked on, to get everything refitted, realigned. I initially thought it was going to get done on Friday because my dad is a body shop manager. He works at Lemieux Toyota. And I asked him if they did everything that Bergstrom has to do, when they think they would have everything done. And my dad said probably Friday. So I was like, okay, I'll expect to get it back Friday then. Well, long story short, I called the dealership on Friday afternoon, like 30 minutes before they closed. The person from the body shop picked up, and I was really polite about it. I just asked, "Hi, my name is Bradley, and I was calling to see if I can get a quick update on the Mazda 3 that I dropped off on Wednesday." And she asked me, I forgot, oh my god. I honestly forgot what she asked me, but whatever, it's not important. Anyways, at the end of the conversation, she ended up telling me that I can pick it up, I can most likely pick it up at the end of next week, so like Thursday or Friday. She also told me after she said end of next week, she was like, yeah, because we ended up, as we were taking it apart, like taking panels apart to fix it, they ended up discovering additional stuff that needed to be replaced as well, that were damaged. So I'm like, I mean, I didn't verbally say it, but mentally I'm like, I don't think he waved at me, but mentally I'm like, oh my god, damages upon damages upon damages. But anyways, I was like, okay, well, that was all I was calling for, so, and then we just ended the phone call there. And yeah, that's everything up to date with the situation. And Bergstrom, I didn't know Bergstrom actually did this, but as my salesman was giving me and my dad a tour around the dealership area, you know, just basically telling us, here, the bathrooms are over here if you guys ever come here for something. And they actually have a complimentary like bar area where you can pick up coffee, anything like that. It's completely free, I guess. And he told me, yeah, this is the service bay. If you're ever getting anything done to your vehicle, just pull it up here, check in. And yeah, and then he ended up actually saying, I didn't know Boxstrom did this, but he ended up saying that whenever, if you're getting your car worked on ever and you need to run like errands or anything, we will give you a loaner vehicle that you can drive in replacement of your main vehicle, so you can still get stuff done, which is really nice for them to do, right? I'm gonna move over because the light's not gonna turn green if that guy is not there. I'm gonna go on the highway because I don't know, I feel like cooling off. Oh, I love riding this fucking bike, dude. It is so fun. I'm kind of stuck between if I like the highway on this bike or if I don't, because it's honestly, I mean, if you have a bunch of headwind, it's annoying because then you gotta end up leaning way over and stuff, and I don't like doing that because one, if I'm going on a long ride, like if I'm driving up to Door County on the highway on this, and if I have a lot of headwind, I'm ended up leaning over for like 40 minutes on the highway, which actually doesn't really end up feeling the best for your bike or for your neck. I was debating, I was playing with the idea on maybe having a windshield for this, but I think it would just look stupid maybe. But anyways, I think that's all that I have for you guys. I should have a pretty long sample clip, honestly. At this point, I'm just testing the GoPro. Hopefully, final audio settings I have. If this video converts correctly, this is me. I'm currently recording in GoPro log, and I'll convert this video to high dynamic range. The stock GoPro LUT doesn't. It only converts log to Rec 709, which is standard dynamic range. Most cameras and whatever records. But the GoPro log, it records a astonishing 14 stops of dynamic range, and that is actually more stops than the high dynamic range setting does by default on this GoPro, the GoPro Mission 1 Pro that I have. So theoretically, I should be able to make my own cube LUT. There's this, like, I guess, LUT creation tool that GoPro has. I'll link it in the description with the settings. I have the creation tool on. But yeah, if the video converts correctly, I will upload this. You will see this video uploaded as 4K 60 high dynamic range if it once again converts correctly. If it doesn't, it'll just be a standard Rec 709. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Like, subscribe, comment if you find a certain portion of this video helpful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.